Hola, hola, mi gente. Welcome to today's event. I'm going to give about a minute to let the rest of our members here in our team and also two in the chat to join us in. Thank you so much to all of our attendees trickling in. I see you all joining us in. I would love to hear in the chat where you're joining us from today. If you're new to the network and you haven't seen this beautiful face of mine, my name is Juana Estrada, and I run events here at Latinas in Tech, and I actually am in the Midwest, so I am definitely going through the motions of the Midwest winter this year. It's kind of ironic too, because I've lived in the Midwest all of my life, but every year I always get surprised by how cold it gets here in the Midwest. So as if I didn't know this every year, but thankfully I'm out of a cold and ready to rock and roll this week. So love to learn more about where you're all joining us here today. I see Florida, Omaha, Chicago. Awesome, awesome. San Diego. Thank you so much for the engagement. And again, thank you so much to all of our newcomers too who are new to our network joining us today. I'm going to give one more minute before we start. And to those who are also here too that are new to our network, this event will be recorded. So if anybody here who you know that missed today's event, we will be sharing the recording post-event as well. Awesome. I'm seeing a lot of warm areas to joining us. I'm very jealous, but thank you for joining us on this cold day for us here in Chicago. Awesome, awesome. Well, thank you again to all of our members joining us today. And I will make sure to continue to allow our members to join us in. But I want to continue on to our events because we have a full day event here with us here with Akamai today. Thank you so much to our sponsor who's sponsoring us today, Akamai, who will be bringing you all information regarding kind of the journey between the members of Akamai and remote mentoring here at the organization. But before we start, we have a couple of announcements to give. As we mentioned, anybody here who is new to our network, welcome to Latinas in Tech. Here at Latinas in Tech, we offer a space for all of our network and allies to learn ways to provide opportunities for growth in their careers, but also to provide opportunities for networking within our network here at LIT. And we provide this for multiple avenues. I encourage you to scan this QR code here found on the screen to learn more about how to become a member here at LIT, but also to how to get engaged. We have over 27,000 members all across the globe and allies included. And also too, we have over 23 chapters available at the moment too. So that's here in the US and internationally. So I highly encourage you again to scan this QR code on the screen to learn more about ways to connect with our network in a city near you. In addition, this week we also are having our Lit Recruit event, which is our virtual career fair. I highly encourage you, if you're currently looking for ways to pivot in your career or looking for an opportunity to attend our event. There is a good way for also to network with our community as well. So again, if you may go to our website and register to our Lit Recruit event happening this week on Thursday. And last but not least, we want to hear from our members. Again, if you have been a veteran here at LIT or new to our network and want to learn more ways to want to help our community gain more opportunities to grow, I highly encourage you to please scan this QR code and give us your feedback. This year, we're looking for more opportunities to connect with you and to learn more how we can be assets to you in your career growth. So please, 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 we highly encourage you to scan this QR code and provide us your feedback. I'm gonna leave this screen right here for a couple minutes more for you to scan it, because again, we really want to hear from you. And also too, we would like to be able to provide you with more opportunities like today for events offered to our network for yourself. So please, again, scan this QR code if you can to provide feedback about your opportunities here at LIT. And that's all for today's little commercial break of information. But before we begin, Akamai also has opportunities available for you. So I also encourage you to scan this QR code to learn more about ways to connect with Akamai's team and recruitment team if you're looking to learn more about engaging with our organization. So please scan this QR code. I'll have this all later on in the event to scan again as well. That was a whole mouthful, but I want to now offer the mic to our attendees of today. Thank you so much to our amazing panel that we're going to have this afternoon. But I want to pass the mic to Jennifer, who will be leading today's conversation and giving us more information about Akamai and the organization itself. So take it away for the keynote, Jennifer.
Thank you, Juana. Well, as Juana mentioned, we will start by taking you on a quick journey myself. If we go to the next slide, Juana, please. So first of all, I'm so thrilled to be with all of you today and have the opportunity to connect. We are going to be embarking on a journey to explore the world of mentoring, share our insights, and really dive deep in my personal experience as both a mentor and mentee here at Akamai. We'll wrap up by sharing some invaluable lessons that I've gathered along the way. And to top it all off, then we'll dive into a panel discussion that is going to be expertly curated by our very own Bob Levenson, who leads our global talent development here at Akamai. But before we get started, let me introduce myself. If we go to the next page. Just for a quick moment, so you can get an idea of who I am. First of all, I take an immense pride in my heritage as a Hispanic daughter of immigrant parents. Although I was born in Springfield, Massachusetts, my formative years were spent in Medellin, Colombia, until I was 13 years old. Then here I pursued a formal education in network and communication management. But my tech journey really started much earlier during my high school years, where I enrolled in a Cisco Academy in Miami-Dade County Public Schools. And today I call Orlando my home, and my journey at Akamai started in 2014. But enough about me. Let's dive deep into exploring mentoring and what impact it has. All right, so mentor and define. What is a mentor? A mentor is a guide. They provide feedback, they support your development, they share their own experiences to help you navigate challenges. They assist you in addressing difficult situations, identify chances to develop new skills and advance your career. They also offer advice and act as a sounding board. They help you navigate challenging situations, and they also introduce you to others with specific expertise and experiences. So why is it so important? Number one, career advancement. A study by Sun Microsystem reveals that employees who were mentored were promoted 5 times more than those without mentors. Higher retention rates. According to Gartner, employees who receive mentoring are 23% more likely to stay with their organization. And increased earnings, there's also a survey that showed mentor businesses experience an average of revenue increase of 83%. And last but not least, I'm sure some of you caught a recent article by the Wall Street Journal highlighting that fully remote workers were facing a challenge with promotion. As a matter of fact, over the past year, remote workers were promoted 31% less than those who were in office or in hybrid roles, according to an analysis done by Live Data Technologies. One interesting piece that stood out for me was that remote workers were also receiving less mentorship with a more pronounced gap for women. So let's dive a little bit more into mentoring and some guides. Structure versus informal mentorship. So structured mentorship, think about it as a well-organized framework with defined goals, expectations, and a planned approach. And informal is more about something that develops naturally with any predefined guideline. The choice is really dependent on your goals, your preferences, and circumstances as a mentor or mentee. What are some general guidelines? For mentees, know what skills, knowledge, and objectives you want to achieve. Maintain regular or clear communication with your mentor. Take the initiative to drive mentorship relationship forward. Establish a regular meeting schedule with your specific goals in mind. Don't hesitate to ask questions and seek guidance. Be open to constructive feedback. Listen with an open mindset. Act on the advice from your mentor and keep your mentor updated with your progress on what you've learned. Some tips on what to avoid. Don't be passive. Participate in the journey. Understand that your mentor might not have all the answers or solve every problem that you have, and don't let too much time pass between your mentorship meetings, and maintain consistency in your interactions. For the mentors, be fully committed to this relationship. Be accessible, available. Listen to your mentee without judgment or criticism. Show empathy towards the mentee's challenges, share experiences, and offer advice. Offer insights about the company's culture, challenges, opportunities, have check-ins, and be open to learning more from the mentoring experience. So what to avoid? Acting as a manager, focus on guidance and support. Understand that you don't need to have all the answers. It's okay to seek out solutions together. And truly don't wait for your mentee to come up with all the questions, and take an active role in the mentoring process. So now taking a pause. As the creator of our fantastic mentoring program here at Akamai, Bob, could you share any additional insights or pointers for us today?
Sure, thank you. What I would add is that the way we define mentoring at Akamai is, or a mentor is someone with different or greater experience. So we automatically think about a mentor as they're getting more experience than me, but they can just have different experiences. I'm looking at the chat here about data analysts and things like that, and you could mentor me. And you can tell I've been around for a while. This indicates that, but I can learn from you just because I have more experience doesn't mean it's going to go one way. So it's different experience. So that expands your view of what a mentor could be. And the way I say to people here is that there's 10,000 potential mentors because you can learn something from everybody. And I teach, and I have the first class, I have people stand up. So you can do this mentally. I stand up, look around the room. Everybody knows something that you don't. And you know something everybody else doesn't. So that learning can go both ways. So I'd add that and touching on what you just said, that over time you can go from being a mentee to being a mentor. And that's developmental for you, particularly if you're thinking about going into management or things like that. It's a nice on-ramp to do that. And our motto with the mentoring program here at Akamai is be a mentor, find a mentor. So it goes both ways. So I had to add those two, Jen.
Thank you. Thank you so much. All right, if we go to the next slide. So mentoring has been truly the cornerstone of my career progression in this corporate world. And dating back to high school, when a teacher became my mentor and guide, that experience alone truly illustrated to me the critical role that mentors play in achieving success. Throughout my journey, I have been privileged to have various mentors and also embrace the role of a mentee, both within and outside of Akamai. And I truly hope this picture serves as a powerful demonstration that climbing the technical leadership ladder as a minority is not only possible, but achievable with the right guidance and support. With this, I look forward to sharing some valuable lessons that I've also personally captured along my way. In the next slide. So, dare to pursue what seems impossible. Seek the challenging tasks that others shy away from. Actions speak louder than words. Back your words with actions and results. Have faith in yourself. Become the light for those unrepresented minorities in the tech field, and show them what's achievable. Embrace diversity and offer support to one another within the community. Keep that hungry for knowledge alive. Never ever stop learning. And last, understand that friction can be an actual crucial element for the path to success. And with this said, we'll go to the next slide. We'll honorably passing it over to Bob so he can take over for our panel discussion.
Thanks, Jen. Excited for you folks. So I'm looking at 153 people here. It's very exciting. We're excited for you to hear from our panelists who will give you the benefit of their experience. Just a little bit of background here besides those of you in Miami, Tampa, Orlando, LA, San Diego. I don't want to hear from you, okay? We're facing snow. It's cold here, and I'm thinking about your sunshine, so you can tell I'm jealous about that. Sorry. Akamai, I've been here about, hi, Teresa. Akamai is based in Cambridge, Massachusetts, and I've been here about 70 years. I live in Hopkinton, Massachusetts, and I just want to start off with a little quiz here, and I can tell you about your background. Anybody in the chat, do you know why Hopkinton, Massachusetts is on the map once a year? Why should you know about Hopkinton, Massachusetts? Thank you, Mariana. Boston Marathon. Boston Marathon starts down the street here every year. So we're 26 miles, 385 yards west of Boston. I'll be geographically broad, and we're 42 kilometers west of Boston. I've been with Akamai for about 7 years, and I've been in industry longer than most of you have been alive. And I got to tell you, I love what I do. I'm really, really lucky. It doesn't feel like work. I look forward to going in or having calls, and I really love what I do. But I didn't always love what I do. And I say when you can be either happy or unhappy, happy's better. And I was lucky to find mentors who helped me along the way to do that. So be thinking about how you can benefit from mentors on multiple ways through your journey. And I love the word that journey has been on the slides here. So we're going to talk to our panelists and get the benefit of their experience and hopefully expand your perspective and your knowledge on things. And I'm going to start with you, Jen, and get a sense from you. What do you like most about being a mentor?
You know, Bob, to me, it's more about having this opportunity and honor to make a positive impact in someone's life. It has allowed me to share my knowledge, my experience, and really provide the guidance to those who needed it. And seeing them grow and succeed as a result, that interaction has been incredibly fulfilling for me. I've also enjoyed the process of getting to know my mentees on a personal level and having encouraging conversations that motivated them to reach their goals. It also gave me a chance to empower others and be a part of their journey to success, which is extremely rewarding to me.
I love the word fulfilling. That's
Yes.
how often do we think about that in our careers? It's a really deep word. You said about empowering them. Can you say a little bit more about that?
Yes, it's empowering them to reach new heights. Sometimes we are our worst enemy. We have a lot of self-doubt. So empowering them to believe that they can reach their goals and their objectives and helping them see that light so they can get there. That's what I think about empowering.
Yeah, I think that's very insightful. And I do executive coaching, leadership development, and one of the things I see over time is confidence is an issue. And you wouldn't think it. You see accomplished
Yeah.
folks, they know everything, and no one knows everything. And mentoring can be that a real good vehicle to help people develop confidence. So, good word. Thank you. Uh, we talked prior, folks. We did a little preparation for this and how we were going to do this, but I want to shift a little bit into Ankita and Dana. Did you want to add anything to that first question about what you most like about being a mentor?
So definitely, I have had many mentors and many mentees throughout my life. And I will say that the thing that I like the most about mentoring someone is that it's a two-way street. So not only you get to help the other person find their way and their answers, you also learn a lot from the experience. You get exposed to views that you didn't have. You get to expose also to ideas that are new to you. So in my experience, the more mentees that I have had, the more that I have grown as a professional as well.
Right. Love that too.
Totally agree with what Diana said. I think it's a great learning experience. It's a great experience to reflect on your journey and what you're looking forward as well. So, and learning about what you said, Bob, it's a different or more experience, right? So from mentees, you get that different experience and perspective as well.
Great. Thank you. Ankita, stay with you. Although, I'm trying to go like this, but the chat draws you. And Yvette, you said, love the accent. I don't have an accent. Everybody else has an accent. Just want to let you know that. And I'll hop in my car anytime and go off and prove that, okay? So, Ankita, in your experience, what do you think are the key things that make a successful mentoring relationship?
Yeah, I think there are a lot of things. The top three things that come to mind that make a successful mentoring relationship from both perspective, mentee and a mentor perspective. So the first one is very obvious one. Mentoring requires time commitment. You should not go to a mentoring relationship without having the commitment to spend time on goals, action items, follow-ups, as the list Jen mentioned. But you should also not seek a mentor that doesn't have time to invest in you and work with you on your career goals and your growth. So it goes both ways. Second, I think it's very important to have open-mindedness when you enter a mentoring relationship. And it goes back to you're going to have mentor as a person who is different or more experienced than you. So you should expect inputs and feedback coming that either you've not thought of or you're not comfortable with that. So having that open-mindedness to act on something, to take next steps and actions that you're coming from a totally different perspective requires that open-mindedness for a relationship to be successful. And then lastly, and this one, as I was starting, took me some time to realize is mentoring is different from just networking. Don't look at mentoring and networking as from the same lens. And that comes, and once you realize that, you understand that the true value of mentoring, right? So just take an example. Someone here may be looking for a next job. So when you're looking for a next job, finding a mentor who works at a company where you want the job and landing that job, that should not be a goal of a mentoring relationship. The goal should be to build a connection, to build meaningful relation with a mentor who can not only guide through your short-term goal and get you that job, but also help you evolve over time, help you take through next steps and the next steps, and work with you through that journey. So, yeah.
Yeah, no, I think that's a really good point, the distinctions there. You also said about commitment, which is a great word with mentoring the both ways. You're asking for someone's time as a mentee, so you want to be responsible for that. And as a mentor, and I know a lot of you, some people I'm looking at the chat have done this, but others will have a chance to. You have almost like a sacred responsibility to elevate the dialogue here when you're impacting someone's career. And you can help them, or it can be detrimental. So taking that seriously and bring that level of commitment is huge. And I also like the words you used about open-minded. And when someone says something to me and I say, I never thought of it that way, I do that partially because, oh, it expanded things. I also want to give someone credit for helping me think. And I think it's a good thing to say, I never thought of it that way. Newsflash, we don't have all the answers. None of us have those individually. So mentors can help you do that over time. And to your point as well, it gets you outside your comfort zone. You don't want to be comfortable. You want people pushing you and challenging you in a supportive way. So I think those are good distinctions.
Absolutely.
Jen, do you want to add anything to that? Key things that make a successful mentoring relationship?
I think you also summarized this really well, but just to reiterate, commitment and having an open mindset both ways. Being that person that can empower, but at the same time, when you're on the receiving end as a mentee, challenge yourself to actually take the feedback and also put it into action. It's very, very important. So take action. It's what's going to allow you to grow and see and really see the result of that relationship and engagement.
Right. And when you take action, you're saying to the mentor, I'm listening, I'm committed.
Yes.
So we suggest you not only take the action, you report back. Here's what I did. And it's kind of kind of a basic thing in life when someone suggests something or gives you something to do, go back to them, close the loop and say, here's what I did, here's what helped. I find it to be very gratifying when people say, I was in a class of yours and I remember this. I'm like, oh, someone listened and they were able to do something with it. It's very gratifying. Diana, anything to add on that? Key things for a successful mentoring relationship?
So I will definitely say that, to reiterate the word commitment, is not only time, is what you need to invest in that person. So whenever I get a mentee myself, I'm always thinking like, this person is reserving hours of their week and it's having this vulnerable discussions with myself as well. So how am I gonna better prepare to be a good mentor for this person? So the commitment goes beyond the time that you actually spend on the conversation. It goes on preparation. It goes on making yourself a better mentor before you get to that actual meeting or that actual call.
Thank you. Thank you. Daniel, let's continue. We got you here. What's the best advice you ever received from a mentor?
Oh, okay. I can think on a good one. So it was to actually stop making excuses. And I'm not talking about excuses like, oh, dog ate my homework, that kind of thing. I'm talking more about the ones that come to your mind when something that you really care about goes south. Because things sometimes go the wrong way. So my mentor helped me realize that things go bad, and that's perfectly fine. It happens all the time. And instead of being myself just banging my head on the wall and just thinking like, how am I going to explain this? How am I going to justify that things didn't go well? I should focus on resolving and keep going. And of course, there's going to be a time for retrospective at some point, but it's a completely different process. It doesn't help that I'm just trying to justify why things broke, because that's not my responsibility. And since that happened, it has substantially improved my problem-solving skills and the way that I approach challenges, but also the way that I receive constructive feedback. Because now I know it's to help me grow. And my job is not just to go and say, like, this is why it broke, but to trying to understand what kind of things I can do so the next time it doesn't break.
Talk about life lessons, huh? You learned and you've continued to apply it. So think about from the mentor perspective, the impact that he or her had on your life, and that we talked about kind of circling back. Let them know. Yeah, let them know how it helped you and the difference it made. We've all had teachers in our lives. I'll challenge each one of you to go back to a teacher and say, here's how you helped me, here's what I've done. It says, you said to that person, your life made a difference. It made a difference in my life, and it's very gratifying.
Yeah.
Great. Thank you. Ankita or Jen, what's the best advice there? I know the bar a little bit has been raised on this. Stop making excuses. I was going to say I heard that from my wife, by the way, but she mentors me on occasion. So, best advice you heard.
I'm trying to think. I'm like, when you get the advice, it's very enlightening, and then you have to think back to like, what is the good code? But I think one of the best advice that I got and that has stuck with me, and I think forever since I'm going to be in professional and personal career, it's a very important advice, is like learning never stops. And especially becomes important because as you're looking for a goal, and if there's a mentor, as Jen's point, who's continuously challenging you, once you achieve the goal, and the mentor's going to ask you, so what's next? And what are you going to do to be prepared for the next goal? Rather than just saying, okay, you've done what you wanted to do and that's it. Right. So I think that perspective and that internalizing that learning never stops, and you have to keep going in whatever role and position you are in, whatever you have achieved, you have to keep looking for next and what else you can learn, and how you can grow.
Right. Love that, because that idea of learning never stopping. I love the expression, if you don't learn something new every day, you're not paying attention. So that growth is great. And it's not it's different from, I've seen people, they achieve something, and what about that? I did 10, what about 20? Well, we did 20, what about 30? Stop and appreciate your accomplishments, because if you keep raising the bar, you'll never get over it. So, acknowledge, recognize, encourage, and then you can keep developing. So learning never stops. Right?
Sure. And more important in the Akamai and the day-to-day world that we see, right? Cybersecurity and new threats, and every day there's something new.
100%. Yeah. Right. Thanks.
Yeah, and for me, thinking about a very specific example, unique. I was having this conversation once with one of our previous vice presidents. I was bringing up a situation, and he just said, "What are you going to do about this?" And that question stuck with me, and it has stuck with me for years. That oftentimes we have situations where have issues, and we often want to escalate them or pass them on. But I think it's having that sense of accountability and asking yourself, what can I do and what am I going to do about this? So that to me was a key point as well in my career. And it changed the way that I approach things.
Wonderful. And that's empowering. They're empowering to you. What are you going to do about it? Because
Yeah.
we can always, control our actions. And I'm thinking, folks, that we're getting some profound examples of what mentors said. We can also have practical things that they can help us with. And one of my mentors, by the way, I never used the word mentor with him or mentoring, but he was definitely mentoring me as I was figuring out what I wanted to do. I went to school, had no idea what I wanted to do, none. And it took a while when I realized working with him that I had to go back to school. And I figured that out from talking to him. So it was kind of advice by osmosis. And I went back to graduate school in my mid-20s. That was a huge change. And it's where I am today is because of that. So talk about an impact and difference. It's huge. I think for our 150 plus people here, we'd be not doing a service if we didn't talk about the downside of things, because mentoring relationships don't always work out. They're not all perfect and wonderful, and that level of commitment in two-way, and for different reasons, they don't work out. One of the major things is chemistry, as we all know, and you can't legislate chemistry. That's why some mentoring programs, when you assign mentors, it doesn't work because you can't determine that. So chemistry is really important. So I want to get a sense, starting with you, Jen. And by the way, hi, Eleanor. What were you ever in a mentoring relationship that wasn't working or didn't work? So here's the tough side.
Yes. Yes, yes. It's happened, and it happened once. It was we started the relationship, and along the way, I simply realized that we just couldn't generally connect, right? We both had busier schedules than we anticipated. And there wasn't, like you mentioned, a lot of chemistry. I remained committed to the relationship. I gained some insights and guidance from the mentor then. And while it wasn't as fruitful as I thought, I still managed to have a few very meaningful conversations and learn some lessons from that experience. So I think for me, it's important that even though sometimes it doesn't work, that we try to take the most out of it, even if it's not an ideal match. Because as you mentioned earlier, we always have something to learn from each other. It doesn't matter who we are.
Right. Right. So it's good you overcame. It wasn't this love fest per se, but you were still able to learn. Yeah. Great. Thanks. And Kita, you look like you might have a tough situation you want to share with us.
No, I was just thinking back to when I was starting with as a mentee, and I was thinking back to a situation where I had done the expectations between what the mentor, and they were an informal mentor, as you said, Bob. So not formally calling mentor. That was step one, and then the expectations from my side and the mentor didn't really never align, and we never explicitly sat and said, these are the goals, and this is what we are going to achieve, and this is where we are going. So it took me some time to understand the difference between, am I seeking a coach or am I seeking a mentor at the time? So am I looking for someone who helps me explore more by myself, asks difficult questions, or shows me a path to the next step? So there was a time when I started that relationship that was a real struggle. And once we worked it out, once we talked it out, and I think that's where you see the importance of having clear communication and transparent communication between you and the mentor. That's when we realized that, okay, we aligned the goals, and then it worked out very successfully as a mentoring relationship.
Right. It's a good point about clear communication, and that evolves over time. Think about your own relationships. It's not, you might connect with someone, feel that sense of connection and chemistry, but it evolves over time, and being open to that, and giving it time, and then you kind of know when it's not working.
Right.
Mind. So, but initially you got to kind of get used to each other a little bit.
Yeah.
Diana, any?
Yeah, if I may, I have one that didn't work at the beginning. So I was once paired with a mentor who had completely different values than mine and had completely different views of the world as well. So I suffered a lot at the beginning because I was like, why did they do this to me? This is not working. I'm never going to learn something about this person. But I keep on persevering. And it turned out this person teach me how to see the world with a different set of eyes, from a different perspective. And that has helped me also be way more open to different views, to different people, to different cultures. So my message there is sometimes it doesn't work at the beginning, but just persevere a little bit. You might be in a situation as mine. And today, many years after, I'm very close friends with this person. And I think that we also taught each other many more things after many years of being in that mentorship relationship.
Right. Perseverance. It's a quality that'll help you in most things. So thank you for that. And you said something about different eyes, and that's a good way for us to think about that with mentor. We have two eyes, and so it's limited. And there's a book, if anybody's interested, it's called How to Have a Good Day. And it sounds simplistic, but it's by a McKinsey consultant. So it's all behavioral science, economics, psychologically based. It's all solid research based on interpersonal skills. And one of the things that she has early on in the book, she kind of says that we all have a limited view of reality, and you have an edited view. And I was like, I read it and I was like, oh, I thought I could see things clearly, but none of us do. And that mentors provide those extra eyes, like you said. We said broadening your perspectives and things. So when you said that, I thought that was thank you. Okay, so we touched on what might not be so good. We'll go back to what's really helpful, and I want to double click on that idea about the successful mentoring relationship and ask you, and I'll start with you, Diana. More suggestions for getting the most out of a mentoring relationship. Kind of talk conceptually about what would make it successful, but what specific actions would you take? And Jen and Ankita, you're on deck for thinking about these specific things to do to make it successful.
So from my experience, I will say that you have to show as you are. You have to be vulnerable. I used to have this idea on my mind that since I was paired with mentors at the beginning when I was a young leader, that I had to prove them how good I was, and I had to show them how strong I was, and all my good things. But that was hindering me to really showing them what were the areas where I needed support on. So once that I was able to let that go, it changed completely. It just gave me the push that I needed to realize what were my real areas of opportunity, and also use their guidance to find the answers that I needed to keep on growing.
Right. If I can comment on two things you said. One was you used the word vulnerability, and folks who are tuned in here, that's not a word you hear a lot in industry, and I think it's a word you should hear more about. And it's the idea, again, none of us have all the answers, and there's an idea of also strength through vulnerability by showing. Someone just said authentic and vulnerable. Thank you, Elizabeth. Authentic is one of my favorite words, and you are authentic when you say, I don't know it all. And it's selective vulnerability because, for example, our chief financial officer might not say in front of the company, I'm not really good with numbers, folks. That's not what we're talking about. but saying we're trying to figure this out, I need your help together. That's the idea of vulnerability that makes you more approachable, especially as your leader. And you talked about trying to always prove. You all know that, and folks, we're big on the growth mindset at Akamai. We've done a lot of modules with that. There's a lot of language around growth mindset within the company. When someone says it to me, I'm like, okay, take a growth mindset, step back, think about the possibilities. And one of the principles in growth mindset is to improve, not to prove, to get better, but not show everybody how wonderful you are. So those were important words, Diana. Thank you. Suggestions, Jen and Ankita, for making really successful mentoring relationship and getting the most out of them? What would you add?
I would touch on some basics that I think we just briefly mentioned, but just re-emphasizing that discipline is very important. So making sure you spend time understand with your mentor, basic availability, how often can we connect, and what's your best mode of connecting? What do you prefer? Text, phone, email, video? And also, I think what we said earlier is just go and follow up on action items. Don't assume that your mentor remembers what out of 1 hour conversation, 2 action items or 2 suggestions they gave you, but take a note, make sure you're following up on that, and then reminding and then having the conversation in your next meeting. So some basic discipline, I think, can take the relationship a long way.
Right. Basic discipline, another good word. And you said that about following up. When someone's giving you a suggestion, you know what you should do, folks?
Old school.
Yeah, write it down, because you're saying, I'm listening to you. What you're saying is important, and I'm going to commit to it. When I give a suggestion to someone, or, I need you to do such and such, and they don't write it down, I'm like, oh, crap. Is it okay to say crap? I'm sorry. I'll say, oh, shucks, that might not happen. And when someone writes it down, I know there's some level of commitment there. So might have sounded like a small thing, Ankita, but that idea of follow-up and commitment really important. Thank you.
I think also to add to that is be specific about what you're seeking from your mentor. Like what is it that we're trying to achieve from this relationship and our time and our months or years or whatever it comes out to. What is it that you need from your mentor? And get to know each other, right? I think with vulnerability comes trust, right? There has to be a level of trust between you and the mentor. So get to know each other initially. And to just reiterate what Ankita said, have a plan, right? I think a dream without a plan stays a plan. I mean, a dream. So just have a plan, right? Develop that set of action items. And to your point, Bob, too, is take action, write it down, do, right? Do, because that's what's going to make a difference.
Great, thank you. What you said about specific goals, Gilda in the chat a few minutes ago said you have to tie mentoring to a very specific project, either a skill that the mentee requires and his current job or the next step. And it maps specifically with what you said, Jen, about have a goal. And it helps you, it helps the focus, and it helps the mentor. So specificity, as Gilda said, and Ankita said, and Jen and others have said, is really, really important. Right? Thanks. Okay. One thing I do want to comment on, I see this in the chat. Like I said, I'm going back and forth trying to focus here, but a couple of people are transitioning in their career, and my editorializing, my 2 cents on that is good for you. Never apologize for your background. Wherever you are is where you're meant to be. It makes who you are. Someone said, it's you, it's your authentic you. That's what you're bringing. And you're bringing a collection of experiences and skills, and it's helping you to the next thing. So it doesn't have to be this linear path. As I said, I was like this, which included spending time in prison as a worker, by the way. That's where I went when I first went out. And now I'm leadership development. Not exactly a linear path there. I was in social service, mental health, a lot of different things. And each step was something else I brought my experiences. So you don't have to say, like, negate anything in your background. Embrace it. And not only don't apologize for your background, but embrace it, because it makes you who you are. Let me say, I'm going to kind of move us towards closing, and we'll get it into our breakout groups. But I'd like all of you to kind of think about this. I'll give you the stem on this and think about this. It's kind of summarizing your advice, the advice that you give to someone who's seeking a mentor. So I'd like you to complete this sentence. When looking for a mentor, make sure you blank. Looking for a mentor, make sure you blank. Ankita, let me start with you.
Okay, so you give a difficult question and then start with me.
Yes, absolutely. Yep. I'm getting you outside your comfort zone. I want to push you, blah, 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 blah.
I said all of that, yes. Okay, let's see. So when looking for a mentor, make sure you spend time in understanding each other before you make mentoring commitments on who you are, what are your values, what drives you. And I say that because I strongly believe that if you have common values, if you have shared values, shared purpose, then it acts as a foundation, a very strong foundation for your mentoring relationship. And it takes you way forward in the longevity of your mentoring relationship. Because as individuals, we evolve, we continue to face new challenges from mentee and from mentor perspective. And when you have these shared values, acting as a foundation for continued support, for continued understanding and growth, the longevity of mentorship just keeps going and keeps helping you.
Foundation of values. That's a great phrase. Thank you. Ladies, fill in that blank for the rest of us here.
Oof. All right. So when looking for a mentor, make sure you seek someone who challenges you, who inspires you to reach new heights, who will push you beyond your comfort zone to truly achieve your full potential.
Very
That is
inspiring,
my
Jen. But let me ask you, how do you know that early on? Like if you haven't met the person, how does that, I mean, that'd be a great outcome, but
I think if you look at that person as someone who you look up to, who inspires you. And if they have the opportunity to actually become that mentor for you, I think it goes hand in hand as to how they can help you achieve those new heights.
inspiring. There's a real
Yes.
nice word.
Yes.
To get inspired and aspirationally for you to inspire other people is to shoot for. Great. Thank you. Diana, fill in that blank for us.
Okay, so when looking for a mentor, make sure, it might sound simplistic, but make sure you find someone that you're comfortable with. We were talking a lot about vulnerability, but you cannot be vulnerable with someone that you don't feel it. And you were talking about earlier about magic. That's the magic for me. And I'm not saying someone that keeps you in your comfort zone, someone that you feel comfortable. So when this person pushes you outside of your comfort zone, you know it's okay. So that's my thing. And Bob, I'm not going to let you go without answering yourself. So now that you put us in this position, what will you use to fill in the blanks?
I'm sorry, you're on mute. I can't understand you. Oh, just before I answer that, I would say that I love what you said because it's being something you can be comfortable being uncomfortable with. Because you don't want to just everything you do is wonderful. You know, I say we all should be with someone who tells us when we're full of crap and keeps our feet up. I happen to marry that person, so that's really helpful. But she also tells me when I'm wonderful. So you need both of those things. And she comes from a position of trying to help me all the time. So you know, it's 100% trust. And finding that with a person so it doesn't have to be you're just simpatico. It's being comfortable being uncomfortable. And ask yourself, do I want someone who is a lot like me or very different from me? And you can have both. So great. What was your question to me? Okay. You want me to fill in the blank? I go back to I'm going to answer 3 blanks. I think Gilda said it, and I think Jen said it as well about having a goal. I'd say have a why as well, which is different from a goal. It's maybe more of inspiring and motivating you, like, what is this going to really make a difference for you? Why you want this mentoring? And you're going to get someone who inspires you, as Jen said, it's going to be really elevating. And I'd also encourage you all to be you. It's not like I have to be like my mentor. It's going to help you be more of you. Someone said in the chat, be more authentic, and you'll grow over time. There's almost this tension between being accepted for who you are and continuing to learn and grow. And as long as it's all within the parameters of being authentic, it's a wonderful journey. It's very exciting. So I put those in there. I'm going to do this. I don't know if Rob is going to agree with this or not, but I'm going to, based on these, a number of people are transitioning in their careers, and you can tell I have a lot of passion around it because people told me why I couldn't do what I wanted to do. And I never say that to anybody. As I said, whatever you are, whatever decision you made was the right decision, and you build on that. So I'm going to put my email in the chat. And if anybody wants to talk about this, feel free to contact me, because I love doing this and helping people. And I think it goes back to something Jen said about with confidence and things like that. So thank you, panel. I think everybody benefited from your experience. That's great. And Juan, I don't know if you wanted to open up Q&A here.
Yes, absolutely. So for all of our members here today are joining us here still on the call, please feel free to either go off mute or go off camera or raise your hand, and I can add you to the screen here and ask a question that you have to our panelist. Not all at once. I see Maria. Maria, you have your hand raised. Do you want to go off mute?
Yes, hi. Let me introduce myself. My name is Maria Pfister. I am originally from Colombia. I am a systems engineer with over 20 years of experience as a business and as a systems engineer in different roles. I just created a few months ago, I created my company. I would love to know if Latinas in Tech can offer me some mentorship, some advice. I created a mental health and wellness app that is available for Android and iPhones. And I have been receiving excellent feedback of my app. I would love to introduce my app to Latinas in Tech. And I would love to know if I can receive some mentoring to grow and succeed in my business. Thank you.
Yes, Maria. Well, first and foremost, congratulations on launching your app. I think there's a lot of opportunity for you here at Lit for you to participate and learn more. Gratefully, we actually have a startup competition coming up next month. In March. That will be in cohesive with our summit. So typically we launch this to support any of our members, but people of our network who have, like yourself, a startup that they launched. So keep an eye out for the launch of that in March. But also too, we also will be relaunching our mentorship program that will kick off also in March. So I'm going to add it here in the chat for you, Maria. Please feel free to learn more about our mentorship program that will kick off again in March, and you can sign up through this link here. And there's just, again, continue to come to events like this where, again, you can learn opportunities from people in the industry, like here at Akamai, who have also gone through programs through mentorship. And also feel free to optimize in all the network that's happening here. There are so many people here in the chat who add their LinkedIn. You know, you don't know who on this chat here might be able to support you through your journey as well. So continue to show up to these events. And I hope that you can sign up to our mentorship program in March for sure.
Thank you very much for the information. And if you allow me, I will share the information of my app. So we are offering right now 7 days a free trial. And I would love you to go to the app. There are meditations that talk about leadership, stress management, anxiety, resilience, and 25 more topics. So if you allow me, I will share that information with you here in the chat.
Yes, please do. Thank you so much for offering that to us.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Thank you.
Awesome. I'm going to go down the list here. We do have a couple of hands raised, so hopefully we can get to you all. But also just to keep in mind, we also are going to break into breakout rooms in a couple of minutes too. So continue to network in there too as well and ask questions. Let me see. I'm going to Vanessa. If you want to go off mute.
Yeah. Hi. Hi, everyone. My name is Vanessa Jimenez. I have a questions for the mentors and the mentees in Akamai. How can we ask for a mentor to be our sponsor, or is something that is naturally happen? I mean, I know that the sponsor is someone who will be mentioned your name in the correct room when it's needed, but I know also that it's a mentor is not the main responsibility. So I want to ask you, how do you address these situations and how do you create these connections so it's naturally came? So thank you.
I would just jump in and first say that mentoring and sponsoring are two different things. Your mentor could be your sponsor, and your sponsor could be your mentor, but they could also be different. And I wouldn't approach someone as a mentor and say, will you be my sponsor? I think you want to delineate them. And I'd also say the precursor to that is have something that they'd want to sponsor. Have a unique value add, something that you're bringing to the business that people want to support with that. And then, depending on the situation, what you're looking for. But mentoring should be about I think, I'm not sure who one of our panelists said that it shouldn't be about, hey, kind of like, be my career supporter. You're getting benefits from your career, but they're not acting as your supporter like that per se. It could evolve from that, but I think if you approach it like that too much, it's probably like almost too ambitious in some ways, if that makes sense, Vanessa.
Got it. Got it. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Anybody want to add to that?
I would just add, I've been in companies in the past where they would have a sponsor officially aligned with your career. So if you're in that type of role, you can just go and you find a sponsor. But other than that, I would just go with what Bob suggested.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thanks
you
for
so
jumping in, Vanessa.
I'm gonna actually allow one more person before we jump into our breakout room. So I'm gonna, Sol, are you still here? If not, I'll pass it down to Jessica.
Yeah, I can go. So in my career, I'm in product management as a senior consultant. But I would say in my company, I very much get put into a box of like a specific skill set. And a lot of times I think when you're trying to find a different mentor or even a different area of avenue that's different than everybody else's, a lot of times you get siloed. I think it's sometimes kind of is associated too with imposter syndrome. So I just wanted to kind of get your guys' advice when you kind of have that as a mentoree, how do you maneuver in that?
And is it the maneuvering, Jessica, is like, how do you get out of the box?
Well, yeah, I think too, it's like what I've tried to do is, and I can't say it's like been super successful, but is just try to create my own path and really kind of outreach to even people outside of my network or even outside of my company, but more just to build my own path. But I think you still kind of have that imposter syndrome within you because you don't really have the area that you have, like the support from your area. So I guess how would you maneuver in that if you were in that situation? It's a tough question. Sorry.
2 minutes to answer it. That's fine. I would say a couple things in here. We can talk about a little bit more offline. The imposter syndrome is a bigger thing. And there's an interesting line, I'm paraphrasing, that the imposter syndrome is you don't believe other people, but you believe yourself. Well, you're not valid, but it's almost like you're giving yourself credit for that, saying I'm not valued, but you're not listening to other people. It's almost got to be flipped to like they're saying something about me. There might be something there.
Yeah.
I can tell you that most of us, present company included, are sufferers of that. So you think you're the only one, but you're not.
Yeah. I noticed for myself, at least, it's
Yep.
more common than I think people want to admit.
Also within that is, making sure you're clear on your own unique value add and what that is, and you continue to grow. I'd say that you're right about forging your own path. My motto about this career development is you own your career, but you're not on your own. So there's support from the organization. If there's no support, different conversation.
Yeah.
And it also, one other thing I'll say is an interesting syndrome. I'm a twin and I grew up as a unit. I was one, I didn't have a name. I was 20. Or I had my brother's name. Grew up, went to school, went back to school, have a family, etc. When I go back to where I grew up, I'm 20 again. They haven't seen the changes in there. And sometimes it happens in organizations
Yeah.
where you start out as a junior analyst and you grow and progress. The people who saw you as a junior analyst, that's what they see you as. So how do you
Yeah.
get to see the changes and how you've grown and the different skills? There's something embedded in there. And
Yeah.
if you want to talk, feel free.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
If I may add to that just quickly, so you mentioned to be put in a box, and my question to you, you don't need to answer, is who creates that box? Is it the others or is it you? Because we sometimes lay like too heavily on things that we already know, the skills we have and things that we're good at. So I used to be one that always will sign up for things that I was already good at because I wanted to excel. And the moment that I realized that's not where the growth of the path for growth is, I started doing things that I was very uncomfortable doing, that I will probably be miserable at, fail at. But that's what actually led me to the path where I learned people who help me grow, where I learned who my real mentors are. So sometimes we're the ones putting ourselves in that box because of imposter syndrome as well. So
yeah, I think it's definitely associated to somewhat of comfortability, but I also think too is, I think at least in my company, I have like grown so much that like I often only get seen as how I came in. So it's sometimes it's like just trying to get myself out of this circle and kind of putting myself in, even if I have to manually kind of remove myself, say, okay, no, I don't want to do that, but maybe do something else, and makes people uncomfortable. But I also think though too, it's that you kind of have to do what you need to do. So that's kind of the scenario I'm in, but I also, just wanted to get your guys' advice.
Yeah, I think just
go ahead.
Not, and to add to what Diana, to reiterate, sometimes it's just seeking those opportunities for projects or whatever it is that you're managing that put you out of that comfort zone that's completely different than what you're doing. So you can build that new brand for yourself. It happens to all of us at some point in our careers, right? We're so good at something and they keep throwing the same thing and it will become this one version. It's more of, hey, I'm ready for my next challenge. I'm ready for something different. And know that you're enough, and perhaps even seeking mentorship outside within your immediate organization elsewhere, so you can start building that brand holistically, right?
Yeah, perfect. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much to all of you for answering these questions. I know we still have some time to dive deeper into more questions, but I want to just add a testament that all the advice that you provided is very, very important. And I hope that we were all taking notes, as Bob said, right? To cement that into mind that we are actually going to put these things into action. And with that being said, I would love to now open up the space for the breakout sessions. I want to quickly just share the screen to kind of quickly go over what this would look like. So we will have 4 breakout rooms that will be opening live. For all of us here who are joining us either from a laptop or a desktop, what you'll be able to do is you'll be able to either click on the 3 dots found on the bottom of your bar, and it will allow you to select the breakout room. To some of us, you already have the breakout button available, so then you'll be able to see that button just go red, and then you click on the room that you want to go into. They'll be open for 30 minutes. Feel free to jump into any room you want at any time. And then I'll make sure to also let you know when we are at 2 minutes out before we wrap up. So with that being said, if you have any questions, just stay here on the call and I can move you to the room that you want to join. So I'm going to now begin to open up the breakout rooms. And as mentioned, you'll be able to see the breakout rooms open up and you can self-select the one that you want to join. Please stay here on the main stage if you need support and going into any room and I can put you in that room.
Hey, Juana.
Hello.
Hi, I'm on an iPad and I didn't see the option, but I want to go to session one.
Yes, okay, perfect. Sorry, give me 1 second. Is
Thank
it
you.
Velma? Okay, perfect. I can move you to session one. Awesome.
Ah, great. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye. Anyone else need support? Please go off mute. I can help you out.
Hi, I need help getting to room 2, please.
Room 2. Give me 1 second. All right, all set.
Thank you.
Same here.
Christina, I go ahead.
Christina,
Yes, I see
yeah,
you want to go into room 2 as well.
please, thank
Hello,
you.
hello, this is Veronica. Can you put me in room 2, please?
Yes.
Thank you.
Hi, this is Bernadine. Would you push me into room 4, please?
Absolutely.
Hi, this is Elizabeth. Can you push me in the room 2, please?
Room 2? Yes, I can.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Anyone else?
Hello, this is another Elizabeth. Can you also push me into room 2?
Yes, of course.
Thank you.
Christina?
Yeah, can you put me into room 1, please?
Yes. Anyone else? Anyone else? I see we have Amy, Adriana, Maria.
Can you put me in number 2, please? And also, how long will it take, this meeting?
So we will be in the breakout rooms for about, right now we have 26 minutes remaining. So you can jump into any room you would like.
All right, number 1, please. Thank you.
Number 1?
Yes, please. Thank you.
Okay. Anyone else need support?
How you feeling, Juana? Better?
Oh, so much better.
Good,
Yeah, so much better. I took the weekend to rest, so it was nice.
good. That's what you need when you got a cold.
Gotta rest. I know, I'm just a little stubborn and I typically want to be a busy bee all the time.
Yeah.
Hi, Raquel.
Hi, I accidentally dropped and I was trying to join a breakout room and now I'm here again.
You know what room you want to be in?
Well, I'm not entirely sure. Like, I'm already in tech, but I'm kind of like an early career, couple of years of experience. So perhaps I'm interested. Yeah, maybe like number 2 or number 3.
Yeah, I can put you number 2. I think number 2 will work well. I'm gonna add you right now in there, okay?
All right, thank you.
Okay. How are you doing, Rob? Everything good?
Yeah, not too bad.
Awesome.
It's still a little cold, but it's going to warm up here. My